Bank of Ghana has directed all financial institutions to fully activate all electronic channels to ensure access to funds are not affected in the wake of the coronavirus. This is one of the several measures the Bank of Ghana has announced following a ban of public gatherings in the country because of the virus. JoyNews has been going through the statement. He joins me right here in the studio for more update. George, why this particular statement now?
Well, everybody was looking up to the Bank of Ghana to come up with some update on what the Bank of Ghana is doing or it is going to do in times like this. So basically it was an update of what they are going to do. But also they also sought to advise the players in the industry. In those times like this, some of these institutions have already taken measures in trying to control the limited funds available in their vaults. And you heard people already talking about the fact that they cannot access their funds from the ATM. And the Bank of Ghana is asking them that, listen, rather in times like this, you want to activate all these channels and make sure that anybody who walks into a financial institution can get access to his or her deposit. So don't do anything that would impede access to funds. Activate all these channels. Whilst he's also advising these commercial banks, these financial institutions, the Bank of Ghana is also asking us that, listen, the money is there, so don't indulge in any panic withdrawals. Also, it's reminding these banks that, listen, you are also identified as a public institution. You are engaging the public and all the rest. So put in place all the required measures that are supposed to protect depositors. So in terms of the protocols, the engagement, putting in place the sanitizers, protective equipment and others, because you also engaging. So the statement also sought to remind these institutions that comply with all the directives that have been issued by the Ghana Health Services, government, the presidency in trying to contain this. Now everybody's been talking about how is this going to impact on the economy. The Bank of Ghana is saying that, listen, we are just about starting our monetary policy committee meeting, and therefore we are doing that. Other economies, other banks have responded. The recent Federal Reserve actually cut the rate to 0, and that is going to have an impact on our economy and even our bonds. So we are also having our own meeting, and therefore at the right time we're going to come out with the necessary report as to how our economy is going to be affected, what the Bank of Ghana has to do. We also have to cut down the policy rate to try and stimulate access or help access to funds in these times when we know that, looking at what is happening, non-performing loans might be affected, or my issues of people paying back their loans will also be affected. So these are some of the things that were captured in the statement that the Bank of Ghana issued.
Was there any indication that some banks had maybe deliberately shut down their ATMs?
I think that it might be early days yet, but if you go through the rumor, or if you're trying to pick what's going on in the rumor mill, it is clear that it might be a deliberate attempt by these commercial banks out there. But if you have this bit of the information, which is more of a directive to these commercial banks, you know what will happen if you fail to comply, because these are rather the times that we need these electronic platforms to work, because you also want to avoid the direct human-to-human contact, and therefore it might be easier to walk or sit in your home, all these transactions on the internet, and then I get access to my funds.
Now we hear, Dr. Papa Kwesi has also put out something in relation to the coronavirus outbreak.
I think that he believes that, listen, these are the times when you have to support local industries. Now, people are saying that, again, there's a whole argument about the fact that this virus, again, makes a strong case for us to grow our local industries. People are talking about how imports are being affected. People are talking about the fact that their raw materials they're supposed to bring in from China are delayed and all the rest. If you're producing more of these inputs in the country, we can be able to absorb the shocks. There is some little impact or sustained impact on the Ghana cedi in terms of these offshore investors who bought into our bonds and now they're kind of moving into gold assets. If we have been able to raise enough money internally, we might limit our exposure to these bonds that we are raising a lot of money from these international investors. So again, he's highlighting the point that, listen, these are the times to support local industries, more of a stimulus package to them to support them, because other economies are doing the same thing. And therefore, government has to take some critical measures to ensure that the local interests, the local businesses are supported in these challenging times.
Thank you very much, George, for that update.